Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gary Fowler, and it is great to be here one more time. I am the CEO, president, co-founder of GSD Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in Palo Alto, California. We love artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, cryptocurrencies, you name it, emerging technologies that can make a dent in the universe. We love it. I have been in technology for over 35 years, 37 years actually, and I've been involved in 17 startups, was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company. With that being said, it is my great pleasure to introduce my friend, Irina Litchfield. She is the crypto superwoman. She's a partner of Percival Family Office and DNA Fund, where she's a managing director and advisor. She's the president of Luminaria, a global network investor chain and IR firm. She's a co-founder and chairwoman of Space Interactions, Space Situational Awareness Company, and she's a senior advisor of the Space Fund and a principal in Space Fund Labs. ProChain Capital, founding advisor at ABE, and Global Securities Exchange. Her fintech journey began in 2005 when she co-founded a payments and gaming company in Texas. Yes, she's from Texas. And we hear a lot about Texas these days. Early to the blockchain space, she co-founded a Bitcoin exchange in 2013. Seems like a long time ago in blockchain. And later built a retail bank. Passionate about innovation technology, positive social capital, democratization of space, and democratization of opportunities, making this world a better place for all of us. She often the organizer of Bit Angels of Texas, columnist at Coin Rivet, on VCTV, among other things, and really cares. So with that, I'd like to introduce my friend, Irina. Hi, Irina.
Hi, Gary. Thank you so much. It's so great to see you. And yes, Texas is doing good things. I'm so proud. Texas.
I gotta tell you, I was going through this time, and you have so many things going on. So what's going on with? Anyhow, how's Texas? What's happening in Texas? That's the first thing. We hear about Texas every day. There's always something happening in Texas. I gotta tell you. So what's going on?
Well, I live in Austin, so Austin is kind of the epicenter of everybody wanting to move here, and so there's a lot of growth that's happening in technology and just real estate and everything else. So, but most importantly, the weather is good.
Yeah, that's really important. And you have a little farm, right, Irina?
I do. I live on a homestead. So I have, we just moved our milking cow with her baby to our regular farm. So we have our potbelly pig who takes care of.
Well, you have a regular farm and a homestead. What's the difference?
Yeah, homestead is basically small. It's 2.5 acres, and it's not a big farm. So you kind of ranchette, if you would, right? So we have chickens. Our ducks actually flew away. You know how when we had the terrible freeze in Texas?
Right.
Yeah, our ducks took off and left.
Were they the white ducks?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Really?
So never came back. Yeah, never came back. Yeah, and they went to Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to go down there and hang out by the beach. So you got your farm, and then you have a regular farm?
Yes, and then we have a regular farm where we have Mary Gray cows, and we just finished growing our hemp batch. So we're one of the early growers. Texas just recently passed the license to grow hemp. So we did that. Justin and I just actually, our workers ended up falling through. So it was him and me harvesting, 2 tons of hemp.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. Well, where you grew up in where? Smolensk, right?
Stavropol.
How do you go from Stavropol over to Texas? How does that work?
Well, it really is terrible because the way it happens is a terrible terrorist attack had to happen to get me here because, really, really bad thing happened in Russia, very close to where I'm from. And so my parents panicked and sent me here. And when I came here, I called them and I said, I am not going back.
Really?
I
Now,
love
did you come to Texas? So did you go from Stavropol right to Texas, or where did you go?
Texas. Yeah, my universe always been Texas. Actually, I went to Amarillo, Texas, which was uh, the payment for all the things that I did as a rebellious teenager. I had to pay all that karma off. So
And how was Amarillo?
it was good. I had really great. We had a really great batch. I came in as a foreign exchange student, so I had really lovely friends. That were really great. And to me, what was amazing is that kids of my age were, they had jobs, regular jobs like waiters, and they could afford to pay for their car payment and for their insurance, and they had their phone, and then in Russia, I could live alone when I get married.
Mhm.
So never alone, right? So it's either with parents, and then the job that I would get. I come from privileged life. I'm blessed with that, but even then my position would be placed, meaning that through connections I would get a good job. And in here it was obvious that you could have an idea and go with idea and imagine, and then as long as you take your steps and you do the first closest step that's possible, that is visible toward that direction, eventually you're going to be surrounded in that idea, and it will become reality. And that really changed my mind a lot.
Now, how old were you when you came over?
I was 19.
Oh, okay, so you went right to university then?
Yes. Yeah, and I was finishing my university in Russia, so I actually went back and took my final exams, and then went right back, which is funny story. My parents asked me if I want to come back, and I said, of course I do. And so we applied. The first time I came, it was literally I left 4 days after the event happened. And my parents just basically evacuated me out of there. So, but the second time, we had time to prepare, and there was an application. And in the application, they asked you, what are the 3 places you want to go to? Right. And I put in naturally Washington, New York, and California. And then the 3 places you do not want to go to, I put in Texas, Texas, Texas. And I went to the Woodlands, Texas.
Seriously. Now, why did you do that? What made you decide? Why did you go to Woodland?
Well, the program assigned me, and that's where I went, which was really lovely. Woodlands is really amazing.
So wait a minute. The program assigned you. What is it like? What is it? A scholarship program or what kind of program?
For an exchange student program.
Okay.
Yeah. So they ask you where you would like to be, but there's no guarantees because it's all based on availability and yeah. So there was I.
Yeah, you come back in with wow. And what did you study? What was your undergraduate degree in?
Psychology. And it's so funny. My mom is economist, and she always wanted me to be either a doctor or economist. And it was really troubling to her that I went and decided to learn psychology and not finance, which really, knowing me, that I business and finance would have been maybe proper way, but I wanted to understand why people make decisions. I kind of look at the business, and I saw that people make stupid decisions, and businesses don't fail businesses. People fail businesses. And I wanted to understand why, what is that inside of them that makes those decisions? Because understanding of businesses have been something that's natural to me. I don't need to learn. It just comes to me. But I wanted to know people, and I wanted to understand why they screw up so bad, or why do they make good decisions.
And so what did you study in Russia? Was it psychology too or not?
Yes,
And then what about the US? Did you move to business or did you stay in psychology?
no, just stay in psychology. And I really digested all of I dove into books. So the first thing I wanted to do is learn language. I really wanted to immerse myself. So I actually went pretty dark on my parents, and and spoke to them maybe once every 2 months, which was really challenging for them. And then I spoke no Russian to anybody, and I immersed myself, and I would just read psychology and developmental books to download my brain with the language, and translate, and so that's what I did. And then and then of course I got into as soon as I got my work authorization, I got into the workforce, and my first job was working in a golf course. And so I just kind of, before I became an entrepreneur, I went through regular jobs of my age pattern.
And how was working in the golf course? Was it interesting? You probably met a lot of people, right?
I did. It was really interesting. I was fascinated. I was working in it's like a coffee shop place where between you do the holes, you come in and eat your burger, your mulligan or whatever. I was amazed how much beer everybody drinks. It was like, that's the only thing I remember, that you had to have the beer ready for them. It's like it's 11 o'clock, they're rolling in, and some guys
11 o'clock, it's time for the beer, yeah.
right. Well, and some people would wait for noon, so that's how I learned that it's noon somewhere, because the guys would say, well, it's 11, but it's noon somewhere, so bring me my beer.
Wow, that's great. And so did you graduate with a graduate degree in psychology, or was it an undergraduate degree?
Undergrad. I did not. School always been really boring for me. I accelerated through school very fast, and I learned faster myself than the school can provide for me. And so I just went consuming, because as soon as I learned English, I could really learn, and I learned all kinds of things. I mean, it was like the information unleashed. And there's something about English language and also availabilities, right? So there's so many books, and there's internet, and it's all there. And then if you're seeking knowledge, you can kind of find people and places to go and learn it from. So what takes people 4 years to digest in school, I can do in a couple months. I go into it, and it becomes my universe, and I digest it, and it becomes me. So again, to my mother always wanted me to go to and get my PhD. It's funny, because she still sometimes tells me, maybe you could go to business school.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing.
I'm like, oh, Mom, thank you. I love you so much. Do you know what I'm doing?
No, that's great. And do you have brothers or sisters there or not?
All my family is here, and they're citizens. So once I came here and I started my business, I moved my little sister here. So she's here. And then eventually, when I got pregnant, my parents finally moved here. Finally.
That's great. Wow, that's super. So you get to see them regularly.
Oh, yeah. They live at the ranch.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. That's fantastic. So, okay, so you started on your journey. So how did you go from that? So what was your first company when you got started out of college?
Oh, thank you. So that's it's a strange company. So basically, gambling is illegal in the state of Texas. And I saw people play poker and blackjack, gambling. And I was like, that makes no sense to me. Why would you gamble? Because in Russia, we play cards for fun, and you don't need money. You win because, it's the power of, I can beat you no matter what, right? And so I learned poker and blackjack, and I saw cards tables and bars and clubs where people dealt cards for free. So you come in and you pay like, $20 and you play for fun. So I thought, well, this is something that resonates to me, and so I opened a business. And
what was your business?
The cards tables and bars and clubs, and then I automated it. I build basically the system for it, to where you come in, you swipe a card, there's a display that tells you how many points you have. you could earn points for time and money. But it was basically game table. So it's entertainment. And really, it was a payment system. It was a custom payment system because I needed something to track the cash that's coming in, because I had, dealers all over the state dealing, and you can imagine, cash is very easy to pass.
Disappear.
Yeah, so I built in the bill acceptors, the credit card. I put in the screen.
Now, who designed that, Irina? Did you design it or did you build it?
My husband designed it.
Oh, that's great!
Brilliant technologist. So he designed it all from scratch. And
is he an engineer, Irina, or what's his background?
He actually got his degree he has PhD in chemistry from Stanford, but he was building supercomputer when he was a kid. So when I met him, all he did was just clickety-clack, it's in the computer. And it's funny because he doesn't need to look. So he would just look at me, and keep clacketing. And I talk to him and he just keeps clacketing with then no recollection of our conversations.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So he's the technologist. He's the one that built me all my dashboards and everything else. For anything I need, he always builds for me as far as the technology.
That's great. And so how did you get out of that into the next company?
I sold it. My daughter was born, and I decided I don't really drink. I don't, if I go out, I like a nice dinner. I like a glass of champagne. I like to go to theater. If it's a big dance party, I like to go to dance party, and like to party, I'll drink a Red Bull once a year, and it's like, so that's just kind of how always I've been. And so my locations were all top 10 revenues in alcohol sales. So all the best bars, and that's not my lifestyle. And so when my daughter was born, I said no, because before it was like, okay, it's fine, and I have people going and servicing the tables, and I walk in and just 5-10 minutes checking in on each location. But basically, I just wanted to stay with my daughter, and so I sold the business.
That's great. And so what was next?
And so the next, actually, I did the Montessori. I did Montessori consulting for while I was at home, and I was trying to figure out what to do. So basically, as I was doing the Montessori consulting, my uncle died, and we were going to send money to my uncle. And I told Justin, let's do that Bitcoin thing. And he said, oh, there's no infrastructure for it, honey. So naturally, if there's no tech infrastructure for something, I told Justin, can you build it for me? And he said, well, yes. And so that's how we founded the Bitcoin exchange. So the next thing after that was, again, the payments, I'm always into payments, and financial technology has been something that's been a constant for me. So we built a Bitcoin exchange. Then we launched it actually at Demo. Do you remember Demo conference?
No, long time.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, before TechCrunch, before the tech disrupt or whatever, Yeah. So before that, it was really great. So they selected us. They traveled US and would select launching companies. So we launched there. We raised the largest amount ever raised during demo bottom line. We basically had as we pitched, and as we came off the stage, we had the text message, and basically had a handshake 3 hours later.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, it was amazing. And a great support to us was Michael Turpin. So that's why you can always find me at Coin Agendas, because I always support Michael Turpin. He was really great, because it's interesting working with my husband. Throughout years, we've had different businesses together and worked on many different projects. And so with an exchange, a lot of people would tell me, just be the wife, it doesn't look good to you. You're Russian, and it looks strange, and just be the wife and do the work on the background, look good, which is the wrong thing to tell me. And Michael Turpin was one person that said, oh, no, 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 you embrace it, and you guys are working together, and it is you, so you need to highlight that. And if somebody tells you opposite, they're fools.
No, that's great. And so you did that. And is a Bitcoin exchange still in existence, or what happened to that?
No, it was too early. And so we pivoted into a bank in Mexico. Our partners were a family from Benimax. Benimax sold to Citibank in 2008. And so the younger generation, they basically wanted to get back into fintech, and so they invested a very large amount into the exchange. And so basically, to us, it was a strategic investment because the banking relationships, executive banking.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So did you sell that company, or does it still exist?
It still exists. The bank in Mexico still exists. Yeah. It's called BitPesa.
Yeah, the only person I know that owns a bank in Mexico. That's great. Wow, that's great. And so what happened next? So you're going down through it. When did you start Space Fund, and was that shortly after that, or how did you William Area and Space Fund and Space Fund Interactions?
Yeah, so the next thing for me was basically, in 2017, I got very concerned with the growth. It was really challenging time for me because I thought that if we see enough scale, we will be able to, in the crypto world, right? If we see enough scale, then the self-regulation will prevail.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that within the systems, people will choose building decentralized systems. They will make better fiduciary responsibilities to investors and all of that. As you know, that did not happen. And I was just watching the world, just melt. The dreams of self-organization and self-regulation for the betterment of humanity, for the most part, was failing and melting away. So before that, any work I've done in crypto industry was very, very, very exclusive, right? So you'd need to be introduced to me, and I didn't really want to talk about any of, I was not available. And so that was a changing moment for me, because I thought I need to actually get on the road, and I need to go, and I need to speak up, and I need to talk. And at best, even if I give 10, 15 minutes to projects, even if they don't implement what I'm saying, at least I've met my responsibility and I'm giving them the tools. And so that's how Crypto Superwoman was born.
That's what's going to be the next question. When did you who named you Crypto Superwoman?
My daughter, Valentina, named me. So
wow, great.
Yeah, it's because, it was apparent that I'm going to be very busy and I will travel a lot. So I sat down my family and I said, okay, Justin and Valentina, I will be traveling a lot. And, my daughter said, why, mommy? And I said, well, because the crypto world has a lot of bad guys right now. And I have to go and I have to make sure that the bad guys don't prevail, that the good things happen in the world. And she said, oh, mommy, you're like a crypto superwoman.
That's great.
Yeah, you're going to go and trump the bad guys, right? And I said, oh, yes. So if I see a bad guy, there's no way they're going to get away from things. And so, it's amazing because it was very, I got on the road and it was really hard to travel. I love my family. I love spending time with them. I love the routine, and I value our moments together, the regular moments. Dinner time, bedtime, walking from school, just regular things. And so living and constantly being out and about, and just in my heart, I kept remembering, okay, you're going to trump the bad guys. It's okay. We can do it. And then being the role model for my daughter too, because she gave me that name. So she comprehended that was important. And it was kind of like a ticket. Yes, mommy, you go and trump the bad guys.
Wasn't she selling lemonade or something? Was that your daughter that was doing selling something? Lemonade, maybe.
She's been selling a lot of stuff. She's an entrepreneur. Like for example, right now she has an egg delivery.
An egg delivery?
Yeah.
And how many does she deliver? One or a dozen of them?
So she does. She has about 15 families she delivers right now on our street, and she delivers weekly. So they some have take one carton, 1 dozen. Some take 2 dozens. We have.
How many chickens do you have, Irina?
At the ranch, we have, I think, like maybe 100 chickens.
That's great.
Not a lot, but enough to have a lot of eggs.
And how long does it take for the time they lay the egg to the time they turn into a peep?
Well, so if they're inseminated, then I'm not sure. So at Homestead we have little chicks. We we have different breeds of chickens, and they just roam all over. Coyote comes and eats them pretty regularly here too. So there's a whole ecosystem at the Homestead, but at the ranch they're all laying eggs. So we never have them. They never give. They never have babies. We collect the eggs and
wow, that's amazing.
And she sells them, and then she keeps she was keeping the money. Now she said that I want to make sure it's fair and you guys are rewarded. So she's giving us a portion of what she sells, and then she's saving money for a pony. So
that's great. That's really great. I love it. Okay, so now let's go. So when did you start getting into space investing and space fund? How did that come about?
Yeah, that came about 3 years ago. Rick Tomlinson, he's a godfather of space revolution. We kind of briefly met in Malta when I was at Her Excellency's residence for Binance private dinner, and so I kind of got passes to a friend, and Rick Tomlinson was part of that group that came in. And so we didn't really get a chance to speak or anything much, but he's from Austin, Texas. And so when we got back to Austin, I got a message, and the message came from Rick, and he said, "Irina, I really need to meet with you." And so we go there, and I'm thinking crypto, and I don't know what we're going to be talking about. I'm usually pretty open to whatever, and then we sat down, and he said, "Okay, I need you to say yes." And I was like, "Okay, yes, okay." And he said, "I need you to be advisor on Space Fund." And it's a first time. It was very interesting because my first reaction was like, I'm not a scientist, and I'm not an astronaut, and unless we can travel to space with luxury, I'll just wait. I'm not a person that's gonna jump on trampoline rocket and try to make it to space. The smoother, the better for me, And and so he said, "It's okay. We have plenty astronauts and scientists."
Sounds like that could be a new company for you, Elite Space Travel.
Yes. There are actually a number of them already that's happening. So I think that within the next 5 years, we'll have a very comfortable, travel to orbit and get there and hang out, take pretty pictures, have good time, and then gently
come back.
Yeah, gently come back. So so he said, the space world needs you, and I know you don't realize it, but it needs you. And so that's how I got into the space industry, and I've been active ever since.
Wow, it's amazing. Okay, so what about so you go into ProChain Capital, you're an advisor ProChain. So what's
Percival.
What's Percival about?
Percival is Brock Pierce's family office. Brock Pierce has been really great friend for many years, and just really great friend. He's always been an amazing host, and I really always love his message. He really cares about the world, and so in June, in the beginning of June, he also said, kind of similar to how Rick, that seems to be a reoccurring theme in my life. So he asked me if I would join family office and, come in and be part of Percival and help to make a world a better place.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah.
You get around. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, where was a picture you had this week? You had something wrapped. Was that a Burning Man or where was it?
Yes. It was at Burning Man. So it was funny. We went to a North American Space Summit, and from there, we got swooped into the Burning Man. We got we got an invitation and opportunity to join Renegade. And so Justin's never been, so he said, let's do it. And if my husband says let's go do it, he's more reserved. I travel a lot. He likes to stay home, and so when he says let's go, it means we gotta go. And it was amazing.
That's great. Wow. Okay, super. So we're coming up to the top of the hour. I love the conversation, but tell us a little bit about ARA and some of the things. I know you have ARA, the Global Innovation Summit, coming up. When is that going to be, and how big is it?
Yeah, it's really small. It's curated event. Our concentration is to discuss innovations. So quantum mechanics, quantum computing, emotional emotional AI, things that are going to be our future. We discuss that on kind of a high level. Obviously, space and crypto and art. It's about 150 people. It's on my ranch, so we do the nature integration. We do the walks. There's the talks. I have experience guides providing experience, and experience guides are your meditation, kind of meditation, the sound healing. And Theotech is big part of that. So it's a technology that allows you to have entheogenic experiences without the stimuli, exogenous stimuli. So we have those experiences, and it's November 4th through 8th. So November 4th is a Diwali festival, and Diwali is a goddess of abundance and light. And so I'll have a Diwali goddess come in and do inviting dance, and we'll have a light ceremony with wishes and stuff. So I kind of, I like to say ARA is my head. When you come to ARA, you basically come into my world, and you get to experience it through kind of my eyes. And but it's not about me. It's about attendees and about people. But overall, the experience is what's happening in my head.
Yeah, that's great. So closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you, Irina?
Well, the best way to get hold of me is just Google me and click on whatever link and message me. I'm very responsive. And, closing thoughts, the world is a wonderful place, and things are challenging right now. And so I hope that people can realize that as long as they can take a breath and in a challenging moment and concentrate on their breath and drink water and allow themselves to feel better, even if they think that things are challenging. I think that that's the biggest thing for me right now that I want people to carry out, is allowing yourself to feel better, and also do believe in your dreams. Anything that you have in your head will become a reality. And so occupy your head with wonderful things, think of good things and allow yourself to dream of the better world, because if we all do, it will come reality. Even if you're just thinking about it and not taking steps, it's okay.
Got it. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I mean, part of it's staying positive, starting it is, getting through all the fluff and just keeping that attitude, because when you're positive, you can move mountains. And most startups don't do that. They don't think positively. So that whole mindset's really important. You hit the nail on the head. It's amazing all the things you've done. I want to thank you so much for being my guest today on GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. It's good seeing you. To my audience out there, my name is Gary Fowler, and I am the CEO and president of GSD. We love AI, as I've said, quantum computing, cybersecurity, crypto, blockchain. Contact us. Stay in touch, stay tuned, stay safe, and stay healthy. So until our next event next Tuesday, look forward to seeing you then. Actually, I have one Thursday. I shouldn't say that because I put an extra one in for my friend Irina. So anyhow, great to be here. Stay tuned, and I'll see you again soon. Irina, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Some